Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle. Thank you so much for joining us. Losing control. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, the Democrat establishment, I think they always assume that they could control the crazies on the left without our help. But what if that's not true?
Don't touch them! Don't touch them! Don't touch them! Don't touch them!
One of the protesters was arrested and put into that squad car you see right there. The car was then surrounded by protesters demanding, let him go, let him go, let him go. It appears that they might actually be letting him go. There was pushing and shoving, cursing, swearing, a great deal of anger, and then this arrest.
There's now a physical clash between students and police.
The pro-Hamas movement is catching on at college campuses coast to coast. It's moving faster than STDs. This is a new generation of activists who consider George Floyd a hero, and most of them think America is just downright racist. And now they're feeling emboldened because as social liberals and left-wing radicals, they believe they're always going to have cover from the liberals who are running our colleges and universities.
What we have is this encampment that has shown solidarity with each other, with other colleges, with the Palestinian people, and that is something that the administration cannot take away from us. The way they've been treating us is as if we were strangers in our own campus, as if they hadn't been teaching us what we're applying here at this encampment.
I love the mask. Last night, Columbia University gave the upper hand to protesters who were given a deadline to disband, remove the tents, but then the administration buckled.
That deadline came and went. Hours later, a university spokesperson said they made enough progress to where they feel they can push back that deadline by 48 hours.
48 hours? Now, some of these activists are ignorantly just supporting Hamas. Most of them don't even know what Hamas is. But some are vicious anti-Semites. And others are just bored, and I think they're desperate to maybe find a girlfriend, boyfriend, or just meaning in their lives. Students who work hard to be in school, most of them can't afford to be involved with this nonsense. They can't afford to skip classes or not study for exams and scream from the river to the sea on camera. This angry campus occupation is filled with entitled kids, poorly raised, who live in a natural state of entitlement and sloth. Who needs classwork? Mommy and Daddy will still flip me the keys to the Beamer. And they know that college officials are ideologically joined at the hip with them. So punishment, not going to be coming anytime soon. After all, remember, it was Obama himself who encouraged young people to be community organizers. That was one of his final speeches that he gave as president. And they know they have campus and city law enforcement in a box.
These moments sometimes of law enforcement moving in actually create sometimes a moment of escalation.
We cannot put police officers, especially non-university police officers, as we've seen in some of these jurisdictions, just out there fully armed, terrifying students. We don't have to treat the protesters as enemies. We don't want to get to DEFCON 1, in an hour.
The truth is, just as Dr. Frankenstein's monster eventually came for him, the Democrats' creation, these hateful pro-Hamas activists, will also come for them, a new type of monster. Not only are they threatening to disrupt the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, they're putting Biden's re-election in danger by convincing a lot of middle America that the Democrat Party is dominated by anti-American and anti-Semitic extremists. We did have riots in 1968, and remember, Nixon won the election. So this is where the rubber meets the road. Up until now, the Democrats thought that these activists were helping them, as they did in 2020, by kind of intimidating Republicans, bringing all that excitement and passion to campaigning. But now, Democrats have lost control of the situation, with these kids raging out of control, shouting their support for Hamas, stopping normal life on campus for everyone else. And this is setting up a potential nightmare scenario for Joe Biden and his party. What will they do if all these students, or others like them, march into Chicago on August 19th? 2 or 3 nights of riots are going to sink Biden. like it sunk Hubert Humphrey in 1968. My prediction is the Biden campaign will do everything it can to convince this movement that they're only helping elect Trump. So put the brakes on the protest stuff. If it's left to Governor J.B. Pritzker and that dopey Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson to stomp these kids with major police and National Guard presence, well, they'll do it. But this could end up just like 1968 all over again. Remember those scenes? Well, the upshot here is that the politicians like Biden, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, they should never have gone along with these radicals and mouthed their slogans.
Systemic racism is a stain on our nation's soul.
President Trump, you are not a dictator, and America will not permit you to be one. We will not permit you to be one.
They have placed our democracy in jeopardy.
Now, from time to time, it's easy to conclude that they actually believed what they were saying. But, you know, we're really looking at this. Do you really think that the guy who served as vice president to Barack Obama for 8 years really, in his heart of heart, believes that the country is systemically racist? Probably not. And Chuck Schumer doesn't believe that Donald Trump is never going to hold another election if he's president. It's ridiculous. They just say it. So the more we look at this, the more we see it was all an act. It was performance art to attract the energy and the enthusiasm of these young radicals, all to stop the populists and Donald Trump. But those suburban mothers who thought Biden was going to return us to normalcy, that's what they promised. They see all of this unfolding, chaos everywhere. We look from the trans movement, hurting all those young girls and women in sports, to the border, that mess, to college campuses now. And those suburban women are still going to think that Trump is the problem? It would be sweet justice if, after all this, it blew up in their faces in November and helped elect Donald Trump. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.